Have you ever found yourself staring at the ceiling late at night, surrounded by the quiet hum of a life that, on paper, is everything you once hoped for? The career, the relationship, the home, the recognition, each box checked, each milestone reached. And yet, beneath the surface, a silent ache persists. A question, unspoken but ever present. Why do I feel so empty when my life looks so perfect? This is not a flaw, nor a failure. It is a riddle at the heart of the human experience, one that has haunted countless souls across generations. Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychologist, saw this emptiness not as a personal defect, but as a profound signal from the depths of the psyche. He recognized that the soul, neglected and unheard, will eventually protest, even in the midst of outward success. In this we'll journey into the hidden architecture of the self, exploring why the pursuit of perfection can lead to a sense of hollowness, and how Jung's insights offer a path toward meaning and wholeness. If you have ever felt the weight of this paradox, know that you are not alone. The emptiness is not your enemy, it is an invitation. From our earliest days, society hands us a script, a blueprint for what a good life should look like. Study hard, achieve, climb the ladder, find love, build a family, accumulate, ascend. We are tagged, both subtly and overtly, that fulfillment is a destination reached by following this well-trodden path. The images are everywhere. The smiling faces in advertisements, the curated snapshots on social media, the stories of those who made it. Success, we are told, is visible, measurable, and above all, enviable. Most of us follow this script with diligence, believing that happiness lies just beyond the next achievement. We sacrifice sleep for grades, time for promotions, authenticity for approval. We learn to measure our worth by external markers, titles, possessions, relationships, likes, and for a while, this pursuit can be intoxicating. Each new accomplishment brings a fleeting sense of satisfaction, a brief respite from the gnawing sense of lack. But what happens when the script is complete? When the applause fades and the dust settles, many discover a truth that society rarely acknowledges. The promised fulfillment is elusive. The life that looks perfect from the outside can feel strangely hollow within. The script, it turns out, was never written for the soul. It was written for the persona, the mask we wear to fit in, to be admired, to belong. To navigate the world, we all develop a persona, a social mask shaped by the expectations of family, culture, and community. The persona is not inherently false. It is a necessary adaptation, a way to function and be accepted. But over time, the mask can harden. We begin to identify with it so completely that we forget who we are beneath it. Jung warned of the dangers of over-identifying with the persona. When we invest all our energy in maintaining the image of the perfect professional, the ideal partner, the model citizen, we risk losing touch with our authentic self. The persona becomes a prison, beautiful but suffocating. We learn to suppress our true desires, our quirks, our vulnerabilities, anything that does not fit the script. The cost of this over-identification is subtle but profound. We become strangers to ourselves, living lives that are admired by others but feel foreign within. The more we strive to perfect the mask, the more distant we become from the inner voice that whispers of deeper longings. The emptiness grows, not from lack, but from the abandonment of the self. The persona, once a tool for a connection, becomes a barrier to authenticity. There comes a moment, a turning point, when the old strategies no longer work. The promotions, the accolades, the possessions lose their luster. The applause grows faint, and the silence of Sunday morning becomes unbearable. This is not a crisis of failure, but a crisis of success. The very life you built with such care begins to feel like someone else's story. Jung called this the midlife crisis, but it is less about age and more about awakening. It is the soul's rebellion against a life lived solely for the persona. The turning point is often marked by a sense of restlessness, a yearning for something more, a growing discomfort that cannot be soothed by external rewards. It is as if the psyche, having played its part to perfection, now demands a new script, one written from within. This crisis is not a sign of weakness, but of growth. It is the beginning of individuation, the process by which we reclaim our wholeness. The emptiness, once feared, becomes a guide. It points to the places where we have betrayed ourselves, where we have traded authenticity for approval. The turning point is an invitation to descend beneath the mask, to rediscover the self that has been waiting in the shadows. At the heart of this crisis lies a silent war, a battle between the persona and the self. The persona seeks safety, acceptance, and validation from the outside world. The self, on the other hand, longs for meaning, depth, and authenticity. When these two forces are in harmony, life feels rich and purposeful. But when the persona dominates, the self is exiled, and emptiness takes root. Jung described the self as the organizing center of the psyche, the source of our deepest potential and unique individuality. The self is not concerned with appearances or approval. It seeks only to be realized, to express its truth in the world. When we ignore the self in favor of the persona, we create a split within the psyche. The mask grows heavier, and the inner voice grows fainter. This conflict is not easily resolved. The world rewards the persona, not the self. To honor the self often means risking disapproval, stepping into the unknown, and facing the discomfort of change. But the cost of ignoring the self is far greater. A life that is outwardly perfect but inwardly barren. The emptiness is the self's way of calling us home, of reminding us that we were not born to play a role, but to be whole. When the self is neglected, the psyche does not remain silent. It sends signals, subtle at first, then increasingly urgent. These symptoms are not failures to be fixed, but messages to be heard. Anxiety without cause, a persistent sense of boredom, chronic fatigue, insomnia, and even physical ailments with no clear explanation. All can be signs that the soul is being ignored. Emotionally, the symptoms may manifest as apathy, irritability, or loss of enthusiasm for life. Relationships may feel shallow or strained. Work may become mechanical, and moments of rest may be haunted by a vague sense of unease. Dreams may grow chaotic or disturbing as the unconscious tries to restore balance. Self-sabotage, procrastination, and compulsive behaviors can all be attempts to break free from the prison of the persona. These symptoms are invitations, not punishments. Each one is a call to return to authenticity, to listen to the needs of the self. The emptiness is not a void to be filled with distractions, but a space to be honored, a sacred pause in which the soul can speak. To ignore these signals is to risk deeper suffering. To heed them is to begin the journey home. Jung's solution to this crisis was radical in its simplicity. Turn inward. The path to healing is not found in more achievements, more possessions, or more approval. It is found in the courageous act of self-examination, in the willingness to face the shadow and embrace the forgotten parts of ourselves. This process, which Jung called individuation, is the journey toward wholeness. Individuation is not a retreat from the world, but a reorientation of the self. It requires us to question the roles we have played, to confront the beliefs we have inherited, and to listen deeply to the voice within. It is a process of integration, of bringing together the persona and the self, the conscious and the unconscious, the light and the shadow. This journey is not easy. It demands honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves. It may mean disappointing others, changing course, or facing fears that have long been buried. But in this turning inward, we begin to reclaim our vitality. The emptiness, once a source of pain, becomes a wellspring of creativity and meaning. We discover that fulfillment is not a destination, but a way of being, one that arises from living in alignment with the truth of who we are. To heal the emptiness, something must be sacrificed. The persona, with all its comforts and rewards, cannot be the center of our lives. We must be willing to let go of the roles that no longer fit, the dreams that were never truly ours, the approval that comes at the cost of our soul. This is the hardest part of the journey, the willingness to let parts of our old life die so that something new can be born. Jung taught that true transformation is always preceded by a period of dissolution, a descent into the underworld of the psyche. It is a time of uncertainty, grief, and loss, but it is also a time of possibility, of renewal, of rebirth. In the ashes of the old self, the seeds of a new life are planted. A life that is not perfect in the eyes of the world, but true in the depths of the soul. This is the journey of individuation, the path from emptiness to wholeness, from persona to self. It is not a journey for the faint of heart, but for those who long to live authentically, to find meaning beyond the script, to become who they truly are. If you find yourself at this crossroads, know that you are not alone. The emptiness is not the end. It is the beginning. So I ask you, are you living a life that is truly yours? Or are you still wearing a mask that no longer fits? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story may be the light that guides someone else. And if this video resonated with you, consider subscribing for more explorations of the inner life. The journey does not end here. It is only just beginning.